Now, guys, we will continue with the folding part and the supportive lights inside together. Now, normally I don't want the folds on the walls to be like this. So I don't want to have a fold like this on the wall. How can I remove this? When I select the drip tool, you can select any texture here and untick it from the edit section here. Or when you come to Asset Edit and click on Edit Vray, friends, it's enough to right click here and select clear in that box. Look, when I cleaned it, it was under its own effect. We will add a plaster coating here. It's a slightly textured rough coating over that plaster. By using that, we will achieve the desired effect here. Until then, I slightly adjusted the color like this, friends. I adjusted the reflection part to look nice in the render. 0%. I set it to 50. I gave it a slight reflection. Be sure to remember, there is a slight reflection. Having a 50% model reflection is always important. The walls don't need such a shiny reflection. The ceiling doesn't need to have such a shiny reflection either. When you achieve a reflection of 50, you really get a nice result. Now, the second part is the lighting section. There are spotlights, look, spots too. We can give emissive light to these areas. What does emissive light mean? It means to turn any image element into a light source. Now, I'm taking Damlin Karakan again from the select section. I selected the texture part here. Look, it says translucent glass. As a translucent material, it says Edit Vray here. I'm activating this by saying Edit Vray, guys. Normally this is a glass material, but I want to make it a bit of a light material here. So I want this area to be a light. I'm clicking on the plus section and selecting the emissive light here. Look, I selected the emissive light and a light material was added here. When you pull the color value up from the Kelvin value here, you reach warmer tones, and when you pull it down, you reach blue tones. I'm leaving it here with a slightly warm tone value, guys. And at the same time, I'm adding this as a supportive light because it's a component. Normally, when I go inside this, guys, whenever I add a material to any place, it will be added to all of them. So it's enough to just add it to one. Before that, I am ensuring myself by saving from file, because there are often crashes when adding lights in SketchUp. So don't forget to save frequently. Guys, again, from here with the rectangle lights, I'm going to support this, guys. Look, I went in, I'm going deeper inside, and I took the rectangle light from here and brought it over. Look, I brought it to this part like this and dropped it. And look, it added it to all of them. It added it to all of them, guys. To adjust the width of this as a conference, you hold this. The scale is like this. Look, just a little bit like this. You can slightly enlarge this. So it should be the same width as that. It can be big. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I added this, and it currently has a value of 30 on 30 lines, and now we'll see how it looks in the render system. Then look, there's this black part, and since the black part will be a chrome material, I'm activating the black part with the eyedropper. I came here again to Asset Edit. I said Edit Vray, guys. Look, I want to show you a very simple process here. When the diffuse color is black, and you bring the reflection part to the end, it turns into this shiny material. Under the threshold box here, there's a reflection EOR value. Look, it says a value of 1.6, guys. If you set this to 5, it will go more towards metal. So it goes towards a sharp metal. So when you do 30, it's the same. But when I make it 10, it becomes more matty. However, when you lower the reflection glossiness, look, it becomes matte, friends. You can think of this reflection glossiness part as a way to make it matte. When I keep it at this value, you'll see the effect of such a material here, friends. But, of course, there's something to consider. It needs to have a slight reflection. It doesn't need to be too matte. When we do it this way, let's take a look like this. And like this. As you can see, when I increased the IOR value here, it started to reflect. When I increased the refreshing glossiness value, this value right here is an ideal value for me, friends. Now I'm going to take a render. I will show you the render result, friends. And from the settings, instead of medium plus, I will get a high quality render as high plus. I'm pressing the render button and I'll be waiting, friends. As you can see, the amount of light inside has been balanced and we are faced with a clearer image. Friends, in the parts we've done with rectangular lights, the light panels are visible because we didn't select the invisible option. In the other section, we will see how to turn these off.